Hello,
Hello there.
can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear and see me okay?
Fantastic,
Yes, thank you
yes.
very much.
Nice artwork, familiar artwork.
Oh, it's the original painting from the Punishment to Luxury sleeve.
Oh, lovely.
Beautiful.
And what a lovely album.
Indeed.
Beautiful album. Although we do have another one to talk about. So,
Yes, let's do that.
yes, Mr. Andy McCluskey in the house, as no one ever says anymore. Welcome.
Greetings to you. Nice to speak to you.
And you too. So you must be quite busy at the moment, because I know your PR lady Jessica has been running her socks off. You're doing lots and lots
It's 20 past 10. You're my fourth interview today.
of... Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
I bet we're not your last either.
You know what? It appears that we are being victims of our own creative abilities. Those who are hearing the album and the new tracks are so enamoured that they wish to speak to us. I mean, we did an interview yesterday with a guy from the Telegraph who just sat down and said, first things first, what a fucking great album. I was just, when a journalist says that, you think, oh, this interview is going to go quite well then, isn't it? So yeah. Good.
You do realise you've got another month to go yet, don't you?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's it's been 6 years, and obviously, you forget just how intense it is. The dilemma at the moment as well is that Paul needs to now start programming to do his to get us ready to play live. Out of the blue, later with Jules Holland had just asked us to record on Tuesday, which was not in the schedule until 2 days ago. So Paul's had to frantically go back to his studio in France and start programming for the first time we're ever going to play Bauhaus Staircase live. They wanted Slow Train, but we can't do 2 new songs. We just can't. Paul doesn't have time to strip them out of the computer and program them. So fortunately, Don't Go is on the album, so that still counts as a new song. So we're doing that one as well. But yeah, it's a nice problem to have, to be so popular.
Well, can I do my fangirl thing and just go, I love you?
Yeah.
Well, you certainly can. That's very sweet.
Thank you. I do. I genuinely do. I've been a huge OMD fan since I was old enough not to buy records because we didn't have any where I lived, but I used to take them out my library, the local library. So yes.
I'm glad that they actually had some of our records in your library.
In Aberdeenshire.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And followed you ever since. So this is a great pleasure and privilege.
Yeah.
I'm blabbering now.
We've not had the greatest success of seeing OMD over recent years, I have to say, because I spoke to you when I was at another radio station. It was just as lockdown was going in, and you were saying how bored you were and how fantastic that was going to be for you to write music because you could monopolise on the time. And then we tried to see you at a gig. Watford, the ill-fated Watford with that problem. We couldn't, so we had our VPIP passes there waiting to see that gig. So that was that. And the next time we went to book was at
the Wirral Food Festival.
Food Festival. And then
right. So listen, just stop booking tickets. All right, you're obviously a jinx. You're stop booking OMD tickets. I will just give them to you, and then the booking process won't be the thing that screws everything up. All right.
Well, that's fair enough. Well, because that was cancelled, and then they moved it to the next year because of COVID. And they decided they weren't going to run it. So that was cancelled. So we thought, great, you're playing with Heaven 17 and Soft Cell at Audley. So it was, we'll go and see that. And then I had an injury. So we had front row tickets for that. And then, so it was my fault we couldn't go.
So you jinxed yourself.
So I've jinxed myself. Yeah.
So where are you planning to come to on the next tour so I can warn everybody?
We have booked. Get it on the news. We've booked to go to Southend, and it's nowhere near us. But the reason for that is we're going to see Wolfgang Flür in London on the night before, and we thought that makes total sense. We can flick across
with the electronic cafe, our friends.
Yeah, try and see if Wolfgang will go across as well to Southend, but.
There you go.
Yeah. So we the new album. Yes, we've been streaming it non-stop now for about 3 days, and it's funny because it's a brand new album, and yet there is familiarity about it. Now, I don't know whether it's because of your melodies or the instruments that you use remind me back of the very early, the analog, very early OMD days, but there's certainly a thread of that going through it, but it is a brand new album. And we absolutely love the 2 singles as well, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bridget's got a question about what goes into your songs.
Oh, yeah. So we were thinking, right, when you listen to particular tracks, when you get goosebumps or you just get so overwhelmed emotionally and you start crying when you listen to music, we think you put special frequencies in that make people go, it's that.
If I knew what the frequencies were, I would use them more often. So they obviously happen accidentally. But what's been making you cry, Bridget?
Well,
burst out.
Maid of Orleans for most of my life, but GEM actually. We were just listening to the album yesterday. I was just so
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, just the whole experience of the sound and the way it makes you feel and all the elements of together.
Thank you for mentioning that song, because that song seems to be getting overlooked somewhat by when people are talking to me about the album. So
we tried we couldn't find much about it, and we thought it's such a lovely song. Why are we not finding much about it online?
There are 3 songs on the album that were written for people that I care about deeply, and I asked the people if I could put the songs on the album, because they were actually kind of like little audio hugs, love notes to people. They were music I was writing for people because I cared about them. And they all said, yes, you can, as long as you don't say who the song was written for or who I am or what. So GEM is one of those songs written for somebody that I really care about deeply. And who also was very, very flattered, and then pointed out that some of the lyrics weren't very flattering. But yeah, no, I'm really glad that you like that song. I mean, you mentioned that a lot of it sounds quite analog and old-fashioned synths. I upgraded my Pro Tools system a few years ago so that I was completely twinned and compatible with Paul, so that we could, and little did we know that COVID was coming along and we weren't going to be able to be in the same room together, so we needed twinned computers. But yeah, GEM came from, you know what it's like if you make music, you get a new toy and you just go, ooh, new sound, oh, there's a song right there in that sound, and I literally, I mean, I suppose I shouldn't say this, but because people always used to say, oh, you press a button and the computer and the machine writes a song for you. Well, I just held down a key on one of the sequences and it just went. I'm having that. So that was easy.
Fair enough. Yeah, so we really do like the album, but it is interesting when you hear it the first time. You think, oh, that's good, and listen to it in the bath, and then you hear it again this morning again, and you hear it. It's like hearing a different thing, but it all seems very familiar, although you haven't heard it before. And we were talking about this morning when Bridget had stopped blubbing, whether you deliberately put some frequencies or some sounds or something into songs to because if you did, you could get it to make people buy merchandise and all kinds of stuff, couldn't you?
Yeah.
If you figure out what it is.
Literally, all we're trying to achieve is to write music that speaks back to us, because effectively that's all you're doing. You're having a conversation with yourself, because you're the only person you can have that conversation with. You're extracting ideas in the hope that you can form them so well that they mirror what you're feeling and what you want to say. And that's the difference between a good song and a bad song. When you write something, you go, no, that's not talking to me, that's not what I wanted to say back to myself. So you keep working on it. So I think that the most important thing is just to create something that speaks to you clearly, And then you have to hope that whatever language you're talking to yourself in, that if you want to release it publicly, that other people resonate with it. And also, when you've been making records for a long time, that they resonate with it in the same way they used to. Because there's nothing more angry and offended than a band's fan who goes, "You used to speak my language, and now you're not, and I hate you for it. How dare you stop speaking my language? I thought you understood me." And so, it's that can be dangerous. And we've done it. We've done it on this album. I mean, if you look at the YouTube comments on Slow Train, 95% positive, 5%, "This is not OMD. What the hell is this? Blah, blah, blah." And my favorite one is, "This is Goldfrapp." I'm like, that's a compliment. I'll take that. Black Cherry album was fucking great. I'll take Goldfrapp as a compliment. Thank you. Not a criticism.
Do you think that? I mean, we had a similar conversation with Gary Newman a while ago, and he was saying that he didn't monitor social media because it was just rubbish. And we sort of came to the agreement that maybe these people that are doing the commenting, maybe these are the people that stopped listening at Dazzle Ships or something.
Well, we obviously wanted to comment again, so they must have listened to something. But listen, it is what it is. If you put your head over the parapet, somebody is going to shoot at you. You're not going to all get love and roses. So, we've had to accept that from day one. I mean, 3 years ago when we released the Souvenir compilation album, we had opportunity to speak to the journalist Gary Crowley, who was talking, about our wonderful long career and how amazing it was and blah, blah, blah. And we said, can we just read you a little quote here? Here's your review of Electricity from 1979 in Sounds, which culminated in the wonderful line, "And who wants to listen to two Scousers whining about electricity anyway?" So it's...
Touché.
Not that criticisms get burnt into my soul and I'm waiting for my revenge. No.
Fantastic. Oh dear, didn't see that one coming.
Do you like my mug?
You eat tonight.
I don't remember eating a fucking legend. This is one of my cups that my son gets for me. Most recent one was given to me by my favourite child.
Oh, you've got one of those.
I've got one of those.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you buy that yourself? But you already answered.
Before we go about the album, could we just say that your hair is looking decidedly better than lockdown?
Oh, when I had my
incident.
There was nothing else to do. I was just having fun, I mean, my son had a well, they call it Mohican, but it's actually not. It's Huron, isn't it? But I decided to copy him. His was better than mine though, because he's younger and got more hair. But it was fun. It was. What else was I going to do? Write songs? Boring.
It was good hair for radio, anyway.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so the album.
Yes.
Okay, first track, the single as well, Bauhaus Staircase. Now, did Bauhaus Staircase, the single, come before the album title? How did it come about?
The track existed before the album was named. In fact, the album was going to be called Anthropocene, and then Grimes used the word in her title a couple of years ago, so I decided not to use that. It was only when the album was completed and we were looking for the title that we decided to go with Bauhaus Staircase. I think it's an aggressive electro statement that kind of puts a stamp down to start the campaign and to start the album with.
I'm glad you said Anthropocene, because we were wondering how to pronounce it. And actually, there's a couple of tracks on the album where we think they're quite difficult to get your mouth round.
Well, I will do the pronunciation. Okay, that will be fine. But so Bauhaus. I mean, obviously, that I'm a fan of early mid 20th century art. Bauhaus was an amazing art school, shut down by the Nazis in 1933 because, of course, totalitarian regimes are frightened of art because they don't understand it, they can't control it, and it might criticize them. So they shut it down. And it's not really a history lesson. And Bauhaus Staircase, I'm just using. It's the title of a painting by Oscar Schlemmer, who was at the Bauhaus. He was a teacher, but I'm using it as a metaphor, really, for just the power of art. Because during the pandemic, we had it taken away from us, and you suddenly realise what you're missing. Live concerts, art galleries, theatre, and also it's an opportunity to be able to speak again in public and be heard. And also, our art doesn't deal sledgehammer blows, but it can help to change the world and influence and criticise a little bit. So it's really just about the power of art.
Anthropocene.
Okay, next track, Anthropocene. I did it.
Yeah, you did.
Tell us all about that. Lovely track.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been wanting to write a song with that title now for about 4 or 5 years. I had the text to speak, the male voice, 10,000 years before now, global human population is. And I'm waiting for somebody to criticise me, saying, it's not human population, it's just Homo sapiens. And I'm like, yeah, but I start at 10,000 years. 10,000 years ago, there were no other humans. We are the only ones since then. So human is fine, I don't have to say Homo sapiens. I'm just waiting for the pedants to step out of the darkness. They'll be there, yeah. We are conceited enough now to think that as a species we are creating our own geological epoch, and there may be some truth in it. In future, I mean, if evolution teaches you anything, it's that we've been here for 250,000 years. The likelihood of us lasting another million is pretty slim. We just had a lucky escape with the pandemic that only killed 20 million of us. It wasn't like the Black Death that killed 50%. But in years to come, in millions of years to come, if there is another sentient species on this planet, they will look at the geological strata and go, that's the Anthropocene. That's the era of the Homo sapiens. You can tell because it's full of plastic and lead and carbon and nuclear and concrete, and although they may not know it's called the Anthropocene, because unless we leave something behind saying Anthropocene here, they'll call it something else. But so I wanted to. The first line I wrote for that song, the first lyric I wrote was just another KT line. Because the KT line is the Cretaceous Tertiary line where the dinosaurs died out 66 million years ago. So people will go, that's where the Homo sapiens died out. There's none after that line. And so it sounds very miserable, but it's a wonderful, beautiful song.
Well, it's very thought-provoking, isn't it? I mean, we were saying again this morning, we were saying, do you think this is it? Do you think we have peaked as a species? And do you think it's all downhill from here?
We're de-evolving, dear. Are we not men? We are de-evolved. I don't know.
And that T-shirt you get with the monkey going up to the man, is there a part?
It's going the other way. We may mutate into something else. That we're already talking about. Making human pieces, and obviously you can't mate with a replicant. You can't. I mean, despite what the second Blade Runner film suggests.
Was that not a documentary?
Pardon?
Was that not a documentary?
I'm
crushed.
Well, you know what? Listen. I've been having a very. When we get to Barushka, I'm going to tell you something else interesting. But I don't know. The bottom line is we are here. I don't believe in God, so I believe we are a genetic accident. But since we are aware of our existence and we have the potential to assist our existence, I do believe that there are things we can do to help ourselves, and I do believe that we are messing with the planet. People say, "Oh well, the end of the world is coming." So the end of the world is not coming. That's not for another 4 billion years. The end of Homo sapiens is definitely coming. And when we go, it's not going to be the end of the world. The planet Earth will just go, thank fuck for that. They've gone. I shall now heal myself and rebalance.
Yeah.
And no, so we only owe it to ourselves to try and do the best we can and not mess things up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because the world will carry on without us.
I think at the back of every human brain, it's programmed. You know that thing when you're a baby and someone says, "Don't press that red button," and you've just got to do it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm terrified that Putin might do it if war doesn't go well for him in Ukraine. Who expected in our lifetime to see armed conflict again in Europe?
And who expected it to last that long as well?
And who expected Donald Trump?
Well, yeah. Well, we're now moving into the.
Yeah, sorry.
Slow down. It's scary. It is scary.
And then on to "Look at You Now," which is a beautiful song. Very nice. In fact, every time we go through, we're going to say this is my favourite song. But "Look at You Now" is a lovely song.
Thank you. Well, Paul sent me the music to Anthropocene. I had 2 different versions of that song, and neither of them were working. When he sent me that programming, I went, that's going to be Anthropocene. That works. And then I extrapolated the melody out of his string sound. The same with "Look at You Now." In fact, I think the day after he told me he was going to become a father again, almost 61, he then sent me the music to that song, and I was like, wow, okay, I'll get to work on it. And initially the melody was a piano, and I said to Paul, I said, this sounds a bit like Chariots of Fire. Da, 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 da. And I thought, well, we can't do that, so I'm going to put the synths in it. I'm going to synth it up, and it started having this sort of like ringing synth sound, like Souvenir, and then completely out of the blue. And I wasn't supposed to do this. I started singing on top of the melody, which you're not supposed to do. I'm supposed to sing in the verses, but I started singing on the melody, and it just kind of worked. I apologized to Paul. I said, you're going to have to sort out the fight between my vocals and the melody, because everything is at 2K, mate. You're going to have to sonically hack that to kind of fit it together, which he did. It's a beautiful song. It just is a dreamy song. That song.
Yeah, and now on to the one that makes Bridget cry. What do the initials mean on GEM or GEM, or can't you say?
I can't say anything else about it. It was written for somebody that I deeply care about, and they're quite personal lyrics, and not all completely flattering, but it's just I loved. The song was much longer. There's actually 2 half verses that have been hacked out of that, because I thought it was going on too long. There's loads more words in there actually, but it just felt like it needed to be shorter, and I just had fun. I just loved playing with the filters on the arpeggiator sequence, and then of course I still have lots of fun playing with the Morphoda on my voice. So it was just. Yeah, I was just having fun, and it was like, and I could do anything to it because that rhythm just kept swinging, like da 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 da. The demo, we're doing a demo CD again, and if you hear the demo, the big change in it was I finally got the drums to swing with the sequencer, because my drums were straight and it was like.
Yeah.
So I finally got it to swing.
I think maybe that's what's so great about it, that track, but also the rest of your material, is that you, as a listener, you can tell that you really mean what you say. I mean, you're not writing something that you don't believe in, you know, and it's the power of your love and your feelings and your outrage, and you're so real and passionate.
Good.
And
then we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We're doing the right thing, because that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We are not trying to just knock off 12 songs with any old lyrics and any old production just because we need a new logo for the tour t-shirt. It's important. We will not release something until we think it's absolutely spot on. Nothing gets past the editorial filter. It gets thrown out.
Do you think not having a deadline as well helped in this album?
Yeah, totally. All right, listen, the album, as I said to you, last time we spoke, the album really only happened because of COVID. Because I did not want to sit in this room every bloody day and mine my head for ideas. I wanted to go out and smell the roses, but I couldn't. So, again, you're going back to the demo CD. There are 6 of the 12 songs on this album. And I look at there's a moment where you suddenly go, this is working now. And whether it be 1.2 or 3. Every version has a number on it. And all of the versions where I went back to this is where it started to work. There were 6 songs that their number stamps are from March to May 2020. So, COVID was the trigger.
Yeah. Okay. Next track.
Where We Started.
That's another song that was written specifically for somebody that I love and who wasn't doing very well. And so it was me basically just saying, come here, give us a hug. Imagine we can just go back to when things were better. Again, I promised them I would never say who it was, so I can't. But I think you can tell that I really care about the place.
That's really nice when someone can listen to a song and think forever that song's out there and will make them feel those feelings that you felt.
Yeah, well,
really
this was the one song more than any other that I didn't think was going to go on the album. This person was absolutely adamantly refusing for 18 months to let me put it on the album. Finally they agreed.
Maybe they knew how much it meant to you.
Well, I hope it meant to both of us, because it really is. I say it's a musical hug, and it was really important for me to write it at the time. Whether it changed anything, whether it improved their life, I honestly don't know, but I tried.
Track 6, film noir references, Varushka. Sounds nice, doesn't it, Varushka, as well?
Yeah, it rolls off the
tongue. Good word.
Humphreys gave me the chords to that some considerable time ago, and I got the chorus, but I couldn't get the verse, and I then did whatever people do, and I just Googled. He called it Varushka, and so I just Googled Varushka, and I came up with a German model from the 70s who did a film noir in the 70s, like one of the last film noirs. And I just went, hallelujah, problem solved. I can just paint verbal film noir pictures. So off I went, headlights flash across a rain-soaked road, just painting pictures. And when we commissioned the Bauhaus Staircase video from Cine 1080, who are utterly brilliant, bonkers but brilliant, they started sending me things, going, well, during COVID we did this and we did that, and would these be interest to you? So I said yes, this would work really beautifully on Anthropocene. So that they're making a video for Anthropocene, which is going to take a long time because it's 6 minutes long. And then they also showed me a load of outtakes from another video they made, and I went, you can't show me that and say I can't have it. It's a bit like Jim Bowen on Bullseye going, here's what you could have won. It's just cruel.
Was it a caravan or a speedboat? Yeah.
No. It was the 2 crazy characters out of Slow Train video, and I just said that would work brilliantly on Slow Train. And I woke up the next day, and at 2:30 in the morning, Andy Whitehurst had sent me a rough edit of Slow Train with that, and I went, all day long, it works brilliantly. So then he had to modify it. So then he sent me more stuff, and there was this character who was like a wooden mannequin in a long flowing dress, who was actually walking around the bed that the android girl is sleeping on, and with the floating chairs in the slow train. They repeat and recycle a lot, these guys. And I said, well, that would look great for Verushka. And he went, oh, let me have a listen to Verushka. He went, oh, no, you can't have her Verushka. I'm going to create a film noir character for you. And he sent me this screen test of this female character. I was like, oh my God. It's just like, she looks amazing. And he's created, they've created this amazing. So the next release in a couple of weeks' time, to whet your appetite, is Verushka with the film noir, and she's stunning. She's amazing. And there's also little references to other videos. I won't say. And then finally, there was something very disturbing about her, and I finally said to her, I said, and it depends how well you know your sci-fi. I think you know your sci-fi.
I do like sci-fi.
So I said to him, would she pass the Voight-Kampff test? And he went, you got me. I went, I knew it! So that will explain a lot. It's a stunning video. I mean, Ed at 100% Records says, I think this is the best video you've ever made.
Wow.
And so, well, I didn't make it, Cine 1080. So so there's wow. That, and there's also another video which I'll tell you about when we get to that one as well. I've just ripped off all of their stuff. I've just said I want that. I was like a kid in a candy shop. Yeah. Oh, I mean, and the videos are so much better than we've had in ages, because basically I've now spent 3.5 times the video budget. Right. I've had to persuade Paul and Mirelle that we're going to use the tour budget and anything else we can get our hands on. Because I'm not taking no for an answer. I want these things. I'm like a spoiled child, but I want it. I want that video.
And you're going to get it. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I am.
Slow Train. I love Slow Train. It's absolutely nuts.
We put the video up on the station website today. It's again a really, really good track. Good single choice as well.
Well, it's been contentious. It was a bit of an Enola Gay for Paul. He didn't like it to begin with. He didn't like it. I think he found the female vocal sample didn't feel like OMD to him. But that was the bit that opened the track up, actually, because I had the track, and I went to my studio in Liverpool, the Motor Museum. I went to the studio to collect my mail because I don't work there anymore. And Katrina Canape was there, and she was talking to them about how much it cost to come and record some vocals. And it's a proper big studio. She just wanted to do some voiceovers on the backing tracks, you know. So I just said to her, I said, listen, come to my house. I've got a program. Come up and see me microphone. And so we recorded her stuff, and then she just got talking to me about, you know, what have you got new OMD stuff coming out? And I played her Slow Train, and she went, oh, I've got an idea. Can I sing my idea to you? And you kind of go,
yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh Lord, how am I going to turn this one down when it's crap, you know? And see, the mic is just there.
Right.
And she walked over there and just went la 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 la. I went, do that again. I'm putting on record. Do that again. And that was that opened up the song, because all I had on it there was the fat analog swinging kind of disco stomp synths, and I had a scat vocal on it. I had the vocal tune, but I didn't have any words. It was just like kicking down and screaming birdies, low, blinking out and running birdies, no, and then I went, all right, now she's opened this up and I've got a hook on. I got to sit down and actually write some lyrics. So I went through it phonetically and went, okay, what could that have been? Kicking and a screaming, but it won't go. Okay, that'll do. Licking and a spitting, but fuck it, that'll do. So it's just, it means absolutely nothing. The lyric, people will be searching for meaning, and the lyric, it's like sailing on the seven seas. It's just mad, slow train of thought. It means absolutely nothing. It just exists for a focal point, and it's fun and crazy, and I love it. I love the fact that Dave Watts produced it and kept this kind of crunchy analog sound. I mean, he put the synths through more analog valve filters and really made it really crunchy. And it just stomps.
What made you get Dave involved? Because it doesn't seem like a perfect partnership, does it? In many ways.
He's managed by our manager, and it was just. I wanted to just hear some of the songs mixed differently, because I knew Paul didn't like that song, and I knew that Paul would probably kind of try and change it. So I didn't want him to get anywhere near it.
You just take it off him.
He did. So he did. Paul in the end did actually remix it. No, he sonically modified it, but it was Dave's mix. So there were 2 tracks that were mixed by Dave, and also 2 that he did production on that we used the stems for mixing. So he was actually involved in 4 tracks.
Excellent. So you're quite open to letting people in.
You know what? If it complements, it's as simple as that. You know, it's not a closed shop. If it complements, we will try it and take it. You know, so I was really happy with what Katrina did. You know, the last track, the lyrics were not written by me, and yet I adopted them so easily. They just felt like my words, and I sang them with a confidence as though they belonged to me. So, you know, it was all good.
Okay.
Don't Go. I love Don't Go. I'm glad you put it on this album. But as a fan, when the box set came out, the Souvenir Box Set, and that came out as a track that, you know, hadn't been heard before, that's amazing for a fan. Oh, it's a new song with a compilation release, so I love it. But I'm glad you put it on here.
I'm glad you like it. I mean, we didn't want it to be an orphan, like If You Leave. We wanted it to actually be on an album. Paul couldn't resist remixing it as well. He changed the kick drum and something else on it. So, but yeah, you know, we were very happy with that song. I mean, we wrote that song actually when we were doing Punishment of Luxury. It was one of the B-side ideas, and then sort of a day into it, I kind of went, "There's something potentially really good in this, so let's not put it out half-baked. Let's sit on it for a while and see what we can do." So we went back to it when we were doing the Souvenir compilation, and that's when we made it into the song, and we were really pleased with it. So yeah, I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad we put it on the album.
Lovely harmonies on that.
Okay, Kleptocracy. That's one that took a while to get my lips around.
Yeah. I was angry. The funny thing is, it's a really laid-back vocal, but the lyrics are very angry. It's just the key it sat in. I'd had the music for some years, and it was a song called When I Was Young. I had the melody, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but I just didn't have a lyric. And I just thought, actually, hang on, if I put different chords in the verse and play different bass notes, maybe I can change it, because at the time it was very like Enola Gay. It was just the same chords all the way through, and so I changed the verse chords, and then I just went, oh, maybe I could sing Kleptocracy on this, and I started singing, and I just, I don't name any names other than Khashoggi, who I'm not angry with, because he went into an embassy and came out in various bags a few days later. But I think it's pretty obvious who I'm talking about in the song. I'm very angry with Boris Johnson for Brexit. I think it was a willful political opportunism, and he fucked the country doing it. I loathe Trump, and I cannot believe that people vote for him. Putin is scaring the hell out of us all. And I wrote this song 3 years ago, and these 3 fuckers are still interfering with our lives. And then Saudi money over Central Park, Khashoggi's body got dissected, and everybody was wringing their hands going, oh, terrible, Saudi Arabia, oh, shocking. And then they wait for it to calm down, and then 6 months later they're like, anyway, how many aeroplanes would you like to buy from us? How many weapons are you going to buy this year? So, It's just politics has always been dirty, and always deals have always been done in dark rooms, and money went under the table. They're brazen now. The money's on top of the table. They don't care.
We like a bit of vitriol, don't we? Bit of vitriol.
You got it in that song.
Okay,
next track. Aphrodite's Favourite Child.
Lovely.
Thank you. Yeah, the third song that was written for somebody that I love, and this one is actually 11 years old. Yeah, it was written for somebody. And I just kept it, and then I finally last year just said, we are going to make a new album. Could I put this on the album? And I was told that I could. And an appropriate title, actually. I mean, because the music originally was written by our friends George and Nick from Fotonovella in Greece. So he sent me the music years ago and just went, "Oh, this sounds a bit like OMD. What do you think?" And I went, "Yeah, I love that. Thank you very much."
And now it is.
and of course, the same guys gave me the backing music to Helen of Troy.
It's just evolution again, isn't it?
Yeah. So we just want to, if somebody gives us something that complements and fits, we're not going to say no. I'm quite open. I think it's a great song, and I think lyrically, it's got one of the strongest lines I've ever put in a song. And it's funny, it's a love song, but it has a brutally painful lyric in it and it's about how in love I was. It was about how I just melted into this person and loved being held. And it was it's the lyric, "Hold me like a mother holds her only dying child," which is a harsh way of saying you make me feel unbelievably loved with every ounce of your body. So yeah, that's another one that was written for somebody I love, and I can't tell you who it is.
Was it painful writing that?
No, because I wrote it when I was passionately in love with this person. It didn't work out, unfortunately. It was a relationship I was in. The same person that I wrote Ghost Star for. So, but this was written at the height of the happiness, so there's no negativity. Whereas Ghost Star is 2 parts. It's the happiness and it's the sadness.
Track 11, Evolution of Species, a very interesting track. Yeah, interesting.
This one's been on the go for 10 years, and when we played in Santiago about whatever it was 5 years ago, we met Uwe Schmidt, Senor Coconut stroke Atom TN.
Oh,
yeah,
coconut, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, his Kraftwerk covers,
yes, beautiful,
fabulously crazy. Anyway,
played him a few times. Yeah.
He brought us some CDs and said, "Oh, I'm a big fan. Here's my music. We know who you are." He went, "Oh, do you? Oh, wow!" And he showed us a photograph of himself when he was 14 with an Architectural Reality poster in his bedroom.
Oh.
And we just, you meet somebody, and we jokingly said, "Oh, we'll have to do something."
Andy, you've muted yourself.
Muted.
Exploration. Generation. Mutation. After. Mutation. Generation.
There you go.
Yeah, you're back in there.
Yeah, sorry, no, this thing got caught. So we met Uwe in Santiago, and we just promised we'd do some work together. And I'd had Evolution of Species for ages and ages and ages. And Paul had put the melody on it, and there was something that wasn't quite working in the program. It was just a bit lumpy and bumpy. And so I sent it to him, and I just said, "Can you salvage this?" And he just made it work. It was just like, "Oh, okay, great, all right." Yeah. Send it back to Paul now. Paul will mix it so it fits on the album. But so I couldn't find anything to say. I couldn't sing on it. It's all text to speak. I could not find a way of singing about evolutionary theory. I just let my text to speak do it for me in lots of different languages, and I hope the translations are correct.
If they're not, you'll be finding out very soon, I imagine.
Oh, I will be. Yeah.
You may have ordered a pizza or something.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. But no, so that was some extra production by Uwe, and that was great. It really transformed the song.
Yeah, wonderful. And the final track on the album is Healing.
It's beautiful.
It is.
We love that song.
It's very high.
Well, I can still get that note. Well, no, the chorus is falsetto anyway, isn't it? So it's falsetto. I can do that. My friend Caroline England, who's a brilliant singer-songwriter, always joked with me. I've known her for 15 years. I've always joked with me, if you ever have writer's block, I'll help you out. Mm-hmm. So Paul had given me the chords. I put the water droplets onto it and sort of started programming. And again, it was a bit lumpy and bumpy. I couldn't get any words on it, and I said to Carol, I said, okay, I'm going to call you bluff. I'm sending you an MP3. You're on. Write something. 2 days later, it comes back, and I'm like, oh my word, she did it. And you know, these are not my words, but I feel completely connected to them.
Yeah.
She said she was trying to channel her inner Andy, and she did. I adopted these lyrics instantly. And also it gave me the opportunity, coming out of the first chorus, to shift up the octave. And where I go into that part of my voice where I'm kind of like tearing, when it's, you know, still your body, learn to float and ease the fist around your throat. But it's high up in my register, and it really feels like I mean it. And it was beautiful. And then I thought that the lyrics were working, but I still didn't think the music was working. And I sent that one to Uwe, who stripped it down and made it a little bit more sort of analog-y swirl and weird shit going on, and sent it back. I was just like, yeah, okay, that's it. Now you've made it sound beautiful. So Uwe closes our album for us with two beautiful pieces of his own sort of wonderful programming work. So yeah, we've reached out to a few different people on this album, and they've really added to the album.
It's a fantastic album. We love it.
We do love it, and we're very much looking forward to hopefully the tour. So
yeah, definitely.
And the tour, just what's the sort of reaction that you're getting, or do you read the reactions to the sort of venues and the countries?
Oh, you know, you always get, because I have to pay attention, because I'm on call with Ed the first day it goes on sale, because, you know, trying to make sure that people have got their tickets. Or, you know, there was a problem in Liverpool. You know, the pre-sale people in Liverpool were being given block F instead of block A. It's like, what? You know, so you have to stay on it. So yeah, there were some people who were not very happy that we were playing Cambridge for the first time in a few years, with people who weren't happy we were playing Birmingham. Cambridge is a hard gig to do, and it's a pain in the arse. So we just decided to go back to Ipswich for a change, because the people from Ipswich complained last time, and also we're not playing Birmingham because we couldn't get in. We just couldn't get into the Birmingham Symphony Hall.
We were talking about this morning, weren't we? Said, I bet someone's going to complain that they can't go to Birmingham. But I mean, Wolverhampton's 8 miles away.
You can take the tram or a train, or, you know, but no. So yeah, there's people have complained. Some people have been saying, you know, I don't like the O2 Arena, it's too big, and we're just like, listen, we're not opening upstairs. We're playing it down. We're trying to keep it as small as possible. We'll see. And I mean, some of them have gone completely. I mean, Manchester went in the first day, and we were expecting it, so we just happened to have a second one up our sleeves. Sheffield's gone. Newcastle City Hall we're going back to. That went really quickly.
Glasgow as well?
Yeah, Glasgow went, and Dublin's gone. So, and I'm glad we're doing Usher Hall again. It was nice last time we toured to go back to Edinburgh for the first time. Yeah. The sound on stage is crap. It's like Sheffield City Hall, because the bass goes round the circle and comes back at you, you know, like a quarter of a second later. So the whole bottom end is a bit like, but the audience don't hear it, and they love it. So if only we'd gone up to play in Aberdeen.
Well,
Yeah.
I did see you in, I think it was a Liberator tour, actually, in, was it 91? You played the Aberdeen Exhibition Conference Centre with
Oh
Harry
my
Newman.
gosh, yes, indeed.
So, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
It's
Well,
not,
I
it's not a venue that's used anymore, thankfully.
no. Well, I've been. Do you know what? I've been actually reliving my youth whilst waiting for Paul to mix the album, and waiting, and waiting, and waiting. So I've actually been going for weekends away in Scotland, and I've had 2 weekends away in Aberdeen.
Really?
I absolutely loved it
Oh.
because I used to go there as a kid, and actually I've donated a large amount of money to Bonaccord Baths because they're trying to reopen it, and I used to go there when I was a kid.
That is a beautiful building.
Deco swimming pool, yeah.
It was amazing when it was actually a swimming pool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and I've been a couple of weekends in Glasgow and a couple of weekends in Edinburgh. I've just been going back to my Scottish roots because my dad was from Glasgow, and yet for the last 30 years, all I've done is go to Glasgow, do a gig, and leave.
Yeah.
And so I went to Kelvin Grove, and I went to the Burrell collection, and I walked around Glasgow, and I went, my God, they do have some beautiful buildings still. They haven't screwed them all up,
Not all.
Not all of them. So they haven't. I know they keep burning some of them down. Some of their most famous, but yeah. So it's we're looking forward to the tour, and we'll probably play 5 new songs.
What's your favourite robot?
Rachel from Blade Runner.
Hey? Yeah. All right. You went straight to that one.
Oh, I mean, Sean Young. Oh,
Okay.
kick her out of bed for eating crisps.
What do you think of the 2049 Blade Runner?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought I approached it with great fear and trepidation.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and I thought it addressed some issues quite interesting. I thought that, the issue of the virtual woman trying to get into the body of the sex worker was quite an interesting moral dilemma and headfuck, and I thought it was an interesting conversational piece. I thought, seeing Harrison Ford again was great. Yeah, what did you guys think of it?
Well, the same really. It's like when you watch reboots of any of your favourite films, like when they redid the Star Trek movies recently and things like that. You think, how are they going to do justice to these characters or these from the books or from the original films that you love and you know so well? And it's just, if you can be open-minded and accept the reinterpretation of them and just really appreciate, even the enhancements in the filmmaking since the original ones came out. But yeah, I love it. Love it.
Good. Well, we're in accord there.
Okay.
What's your favourite robot?
A9.
Ah, okay. Oh, that was easy. I can see K9. I mean, I do. Forbidden Planet is a great movie. I mean, that's really bloody scary at the end when the electric wires come alive and you can see the thing that's trying to attack. But yeah, I do still like my sci-fi. Right, I shall bugger off and go and see my family friend. Nice to speak to you both again. Take care. And
Thank you very much.
Yeah, don't
Don't buy any more tickets.
Don't buy any more tickets.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for all the nice things you said about the album tracks as well. Thank you.
Thank you. It's wonderful.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.